Welcome to Not Your Mama's Rockets, or Not Your Mama's Apple Pie. Maybe not even Not Your Mama. Anyway, what we're talking about today is this combined engine support device for a 3-inch rocket built rotary rocket style. And what you're looking at is it on the print plate of an Elegoo Neptune 3, which is just a fairly cheap printer and a really, really good printer. I just love it. That gold plate there, it just works perfectly. When it's hot, it sticks like glue, and when it's cold, it has no sticking power almost at all. So you can't ask for anything better than that. All right, well, let's take a look at it then. Okay, so here we are looking at a 3-inch, a 3.5-inch, and the 4-inch that's got the support still on it. I'm going to clean up the bench a little bit. The fake engine lid there is a 4-inch. That's kind of the length I've decided on. This is a 3.5, and what these are just 3 rings married together so they can be inserted as one complete unit and glued in place. They got slots on the side to fit the fin. Yeah, the slots are to fit on the 3 fin is what I'm using currently. And this 4-inch mock-up motor is it fits right up in there, and it goes up against the front ring, and you can see the slots where the fins would be going through it as it's glued in. Now, it's not as stout as a plywood one, but it's stout enough, I think, to do the job, and the heat from that engine is not enough to be any problem for it being a printed item. And the ring there is to attach the parachute, and these rods are just spacers to keep the rings separated so they can be inserted all at one time. And see how the engine fits in there. It's up against the forward plate and being supported by the 2 rings. Of course, that's a 4-inch engine, so it ain't going to fit very well in a 3.5-inch mount. And so the thing would go into the 3-inch tube like that, and you push it down, and this would be being glued in as it went in. I use that wood glue back there, Gorilla. Seems to hold real well. Not a lot of lateral forces on it, just simply the engine pushing from the bottom. And then the way I would retain the engine is put a metal leg or piece of metal that's like a popsicle stick, but not that long, and just screw it in, and it just clip over the end of the engine to keep it from falling out once it finishes burning. And these are the 3 supports that PrusaSlicer makes, and they're just really, really easy to get off compared to some of the other accordion styles. I've had some 3D prints that were so hard to get out, I finally just throw them away because you can't get it separated. These will take off in a few minutes, and you'll see how easy they are for me to get off. I hate fighting with supports, and I meant to print the thing with no berm, but I got one on there anyway, so I'll have to make a new file without the berm. It don't need it with that big flat surface for the bottom. And that supports it real well, along with the supports. And this one was the 3-inch, and I don't think that ring is going to be sufficient to support the parachute. It'll probably pull out. But I got 2 holes there, so I can add a cord or some other kind of support for the parachute. So what we're going to do next is take this support off. Okay, now that I'm getting the support off, I'm gonna put the 4-inch in there, and I think I got something holding it up there now. Yep, got something holding it off at the top. There's a little piece of support still in there, keeping it from going all the way. But then that would be about the amount I want sticking out at the rear for that style of a PVC motor. And like I said, I would just put a clip on there with a simple screw, because there's no real major forces involved in it fighting against coming out of that mount. And then the top up there is that fairly good sized loop. Hopefully it's got enough beef in it. It's showing me inserting it into the rocket. Give a little twist there at the end. And I would probably put it in there a little bit further. It's got to be cleaned up to going in there. And probably recessed about 1/4 of an inch further up in the rocket when I actually put it in. But we'll try that flight and see how it works. If you can get the engine out, it don't melt the mount, which is a concern, but could use a different material. I've about decided on the 4-inch casing as being the one I'm going to use here. It may not be full. It's going to be weighed as it's putting the fuel in. I'm going between 90 and 95 grams right now. I had trouble with not only these caps, but the ones from the big box store bubbling up there on the top end from the heat. So I started putting just a little bit of the Loctite in the top, maybe a 1/4 of an inch, an 1/8 of an inch, just enough to keep like a little heat shield to stop it from burning through. We absolutely don't want it burned through. Not that it matters, these are one-use engine casings, but it does matter if it burns through. You could set the rocket on fire. Okay, that does it for today. That's all that we can discuss about that particular print. If you print it, hope it turns out good for you. Thank you for stopping by. We'll see you next time. Later.